welcome to the final stage of the audit process. Okay, the next few lectures are going to address what we need to do in order to give our audit opinion, the completion stage. There are a few subtopics, guys, subsequent events and going concern being two of them, but we've got to do some evaluation of misstatements and final concluding, which we will cover in the next couple of weeks. So before we get into the work today, let's just go to your Part 3 schedule so you can see at what level SACRA requires you to have this knowledge. So guys, looking at the schedule for the completion stage of the audit, first week we're going to do the completion plus subsequent events and going concern. Standards ISA 560 and ISA 570. The rest of the weeks, week 2 and 3, we'll address the remaining parts to the completion stage. So guys, if we come to our SACRA knowledge levels, I'm going to write here what week number. And if we come down to ISA 560 and 570, your subsequent events, your going concern, both are level 3s. So you've got to know what the auditor needs to do to assess subsequent events, to assess the going concern, and ultimately report on it because they are a level 3. Okay. Other than that, we'll look at the rest of these next week and the week to follow. And guys, if you haven't looked at the CA Campus Study approach, you should know what to do now. Go back to the schedule recording and see what we expect you to do on a weekly basis, guys. It is so important that you know the work and can answer questions on the work. You only get that from attempting, getting it wrong, and looking at the mark plan to see how you should do it so that the penny can drop. Okay, let's get into the lecture. Alright, so the completion stage. Guys, I just want to discuss the audit process so that we've almost recapped what we've done until we get to this point. And then I want to work through the steps in the completion stage so you can see how we're going to tackle it. Okay, so in terms of the audit process, guys, we have covered pre-engagement where we assess, do we want to accept a client and an engagement or not? And if we do, we move on to the next stage, the planning stage. In that planning stage, guys, very critical, we looked at the risks within the business through understanding the business, its dealings, how they record transactions, what they do. And based off those risks, we developed a plan to respond. And that responding then came in to performing. What did we do? We went and performed audit procedures. We did test of controls. We did analytical procedures. We did test of details. And we got results from these, from doing those procedures. Are the controls working or not? Is the information in the financials accurately prepared, presented, disclosed? Have they left things off? Have they included too much? We got results from the work that we had done. And now what we need to do is simply report on these results. Evaluate the results and then report. Okay, because you get results for every test that you've done. Now you need to collate those results and then report. Alright, so the steps in the completion stage, guys. We as the auditors need to evaluate the material misstatements that were identified during the audit. Okay, so these are what we got through the performing stage. The results of the performing stage. Did we pick up material misstatements? What are they? We kept a record of them, so what are they? So we can then start to combine them to see if in total they exceed planning materiality. We then need to go past the actual year end the financial statement date. We've got to go past that into looking at, from accounting perspective, post-reporting date events. Because IFRS says if there is an adjusting post-reporting date event, it needs to be included in the financials. And so even though when we express an opinion on the financials, we do work for that period, there could be things that happen after that need to be included. So we go and do, from an auditing perspective, subsequent events, which is looking at those post-reporting date events and deciding whether they should be accounted for or not, or whether they have been accounted correctly. We then also have to consider the going concern, which is also something post-reporting, because the going concern is an assumption for the 12 months after year end. So may not have been applicable, information may not have been applicable or relevant during the audit, but it could come after. We then form our opinion and we communicate that. Okay, so guys, what I have said is, let's go and do subsequent events and going concern now. And in this, pick up if there are any additional material misstatements. Additional to what we did in the performing stage. So that when we go and evaluate material misstatements, we don't limit our evaluation to the material misstatements that were during the audit. We go and include any that arose post reporting date that affect the financials. So I'm not going to go and do an evaluation of misstatements during, then go and find out if there are misstatements after in subsequent events and going concern, and then go and add them. I'm going to do it all at once. All the misstatements during are here, all the misstatements from subsequent events or going concern are here, and I can go and evaluate them all together so that I can then form my opinion. Okay, which would then be the third step in the completion stage. All right, so we are going to look today at the post-reporting date events and anything that affects the going concern. Look at if there's material misstatements there, because those we will then add to the misstatements picked up in the performing stage. So when I evaluate, I look at all material misstatements together. So let's start with the accounting standard for subsequent events, your post-reporting date events, so we can see what accounting says, so that we can then go and audit if they have complied with accounting using our auditing standard, which is subsequent events.